Oh, hello there. I would say something clever for my intro, but since I'm bone dry when it comes to ideas, let me just show you some of my hoarding experiences.
Man, that's a lot of cars. Have you ever watched NASCAR or Formula One and been like,
I want to go that fast.
well, with racing games you can go fast. You can drive your favorite car into a ditch, and you can experience what it's like to race on the tracks.
So today, let's delve into the thing that combines two of my favorite things and talk about racing games.
First off, let's look at the different types. I would split the genre of racing games into three subgenres: simulation racing games, arcade racing games, and Mario Kart. Yeah, Mario Kart's so special it gets put in its own subgenre of racing games. Now let's look at the first type of racing games: simulation. Simulation racing games like Gran Turismo, Forza Motorsport, and Project Cars are meant to simulate what it's actually like to drive. It's supposed to simulate what it's actually like driving a car with realistic physics and sound at high speeds. Now, most simulation racing games happen to be track racers, like the games I listed where you're racing on real-life tracks, like real-life racing. Now, one notable track racing series is the Gran Turismo series that dates back all the way to the original PlayStation, and the deal with Gran Turismo is that it's not the most realistic sim racing game, just enough to be welcoming to both new players and experienced players of track racers. It's a great entryway into track racing games and a great game for general fans of track racers. Now, Forza Motorsport is a little more realistic in some ways, but not in every way. Project Cars, and in particular Project Cars 2, are way more realistic to real-life track racing than other sim racers with the driving physics and sound, but at a cost to be very unwelcoming to new players of track racers.
And that's simulation racing games. Cool, I guess.
Now let's move on to arcade racing games. Arcade racing games have much less realism with the physics and stuff, and a lot of them are open world, meaning you can drive around a city or country wreaking havoc along the way. There's no rules. Now, since the physics aren't as realistic as sim racers, arcade racers can vary much more in differences between physics in many games. You might have an arcade racer with pretty realistic physics in driving, like Forza Horizon, and then there's games like Burnout. Seeing how badly I can damage my car in Burnout Paradise is honestly one of my favorite things to do in that game. Now, one arcade racing series that used to dominate the genre is the Need for Speed series. It's been around since the 5th generation of video games, but didn't really start to get its charm until the 6th generation with Need for Speed Underground. And the big gimmick that's been a part of this series is cops. You can get in a pursuit with the police and try to escape from them, and the first thing I think in my head when I get in a pursuit in Need for Speed is,
It really feels like I'm doing something illegal. And that's arcade racing games. Fun and epic. Now the final subgenre of racing games. Kart Racers.
Super Mario Kart came out for the Super Nintendo and was a lot different than other racing games at the time, with the driving physics, items, and characters from the Mario series, and it just really set itself apart from other racing games. Now fast forward to the Nintendo 64 with Mario Kart 64, and now we have a more well-rounded, fun, multiplayer-oriented racing game with N64's 4 controller ports instead of the standard 2, which made the Mario Kart series a great multiplayer series of racing games. One of the two big things in the Mario Kart series is the items. You can use items to defend against other players, or to attack other players, or just get a big boost, which is one of the key gameplay elements of Mario Kart. You might be in first place for a good while, but then you get hit by a blue shell, or you're in second place and you use a red shell to get the person in first. Another big thing in Mario Kart is the unique art style and track themes that are very well designed around the theme of Mario, and ends up looking far different than any other racing game. Now, because of Mario Kart's long-running success, it shouldn't be a surprise that other game developers tried their hand at making their own kart racing games. There's Little Big Planet Karting, Sonic All-Stars Racing, Crash Nitro Kart, and the Nickelodeon Kart Racers, to name a few. You know, some of these do hold their value, but Little Big Planet, who looked at the Little Big Planet games and thought, this would be a perfect alternative to Mario Kart?
Anyway, that's the kart racing game genre. And yeah, Mario Kart. Now what about extra modes and customization options? Because just the one mode where you drive a loop isn't enough, and I want my car to look cool, dang it.
In simulation racing games, there's really just the one mode, cups, where you have multiple races within each cup and you just have to try and do your best in each one. But there are some extra modes you might get, like time trials are always an extra mode you can count on getting. And some sim racers like Gran Turismo Sport even have a rally mode where you're driving off-road. Also, Gran Turismo Sport has this thing where you can insert one of your cars into some picture of a cool place, and it's called Scapes mode. Another thing sim racers might have is some customization. You might be able to change a bumper or two and add a spoiler, and there is a lot you can do with the paint job and livery making in most sim racers, but mostly there's not as much customization in sim racers compared to arcade racers. Now, arcade racers have a lot more when it comes to extra modes and customization options. When it comes to modes, you can get drift or drag modes, off-road, as well as the main racing mode Sprint, where you go from one place to another, and Circuit, where you drive a loop for a couple of laps. And there are many more modes that have been in arcade racers, but those are the constants for most arcade racers. Customization in arcade racers varies between games. Burnout Paradise, you can change the paint job, but you can't upgrade your car or do really anything else. And Need for Speed Heat, you can change many of the body parts of your car, which really just boils down to how funny can I make my car look like. You can change the paint job, make a livery, finally tune your exhaust sound, and upgrade many parts including swapping out your engine. Now Mario Kart, for modes, you've got the Grand Prix, Time Trial, and Battle modes for lots of different options that are each incredibly fun and unique. In Mario Kart 8, you do have some customization with your kart. You can change the body, the wheels, and the glider for minimal customization, but it's still neat to see because there hasn't been much kart customization in Mario Kart before, and it's just really interesting to see it. Well, yeah, that's pretty much all I got on extra modes and customization options for some racing games, so, yeah.
Yeah, that's racing games. For the three types, you got realistic, not as realistic, but lots of cool possibilities between different games, and freaking Mario Kart.